for this administration right now to blame the former administration, I'm sorry. When it's happening on your watch, and if this were a Democrat, I'd say the same thing. When it's happening on your watch, you are responsible. The buck stops with you. Stop deflecting blame. Show some solutions, specific solutions, so that we can all be safe.
That was a host on state regime media known as Fox right there, calling out the current regime for its dangerous handling of the FAA and across its agencies. That's on Fox. But of course, you then have other hosts on state regime media known as Fox, like Jesse Waters, saying, look, the United States just needs to steal land. That's what we do in the United States. Let's steal Greenland. Let's take land, manifest destiny. We need conquest. This is pathetic, vile host from Fox, Jesse Waters. Play this clip right here.
And he's also talking about, he doesn't like Trump talking about expanding. The United States has always expanded, either by force or we buy things. We bought Alaska from the Russians. We bought half the country from the French. We beat the Mexicans, the Native Americans, the Spanish, the British. That's how we do things here. It's manifest destiny. And if we find out that we need Greenland as a matter of national survival, of course, any president, Republican or Democrat, should get it by any means necessary. And it looks like right now we have our intelligence agencies in Greenland on the ground right now, ensuring that they vote for independence.
That's right.
When you say things like that, Jesse, I know you think that that's, funny or that's entertainment or angertainment or rage baiting for your audience. What you mean by that is you want to send young men and women to die in wars against our allies. So shut up. Because you have no clue what you're talking about. You have no clue what sacrifice is, and you live in your $20 million homes and behave the way you do, like a reckless maniac, while you cause harm to the American people, you and other state regime media hosts. Here's Will Cain, who's trying to be like Jesse Waters, and Jesse Waters trying to be like Tucker Carlson, with MAGA Republican Congress member Anna Paulina Luna on. And here they're talking about they got to go after Dr. Fauci. That's how they spend their day. Go after Fauci. Here, play this clip.
And that's what I want to lean in on for a moment, Congresswoman, because I think at this point, everybody watching knows that Dr. Fauci lied. At a minimum, he played semantics over the definition of gain of function, but that it amounted to a lie. Let's set aside the pardon for just one moment. I don't know if the pardon covers any potential accountability for perjury, but would you like to see, and I think everyone watching finally wants to hear about some form of accountability, would you like to see something done here by Attorney General Pam Bondi?
Yes, and what I will tell you is to give assurance, because I know people are tired of members of Congress sending strongly worded letters. I'm also very tired of that. I want to see action. I will look at doing a criminal referral for those statements. I will go on record for that, and I will do it as soon as I get back to my office. But what I also want to say is the Attorney General has the ability to put some teeth behind what we are trying to do in Congress. Remember, Congress is not a punitive arm, although we reserve the right for inherent contempt. Having the Department of Justice for referrals, they need to really follow up. As you know, I also referred some of these sanctuary city mayors. So I do believe what he did was wrong. I do believe that he needs to be brought to justice, and I will happily authorize a criminal referral. And I will also be asking Chairman Comer to help authorize that as well.
Next up, I will show you Kevin Hassett right here, Donald Trump's national economic advisor on Laura Ingraham. Play this clip.
Well, the scaremongering is happening now, but I can tell you that I get real-time data every day on whether there are shortages, and I can report that there are still plenty of things on the shelves. There were a couple of weeks where shipping from China was lower, but now shipping from a lot of other countries is going way, way up. So people don't have to be worried about what the scaremongers are saying. These policies are onshoring jobs, onshoring production. You can see it in the jobs data. You can see it in the explosion in manufacturing jobs already, even before the tariffs came in. The way to think about it for me, Laura, is that President Trump did something last time, looked and saw that it really worked, and now he's doing more of it a little bit bigger. But that's what you should do. You should do something, see if it works or not, and then change. And that's what he's doing. He's ramping up the ante because he saw that it worked in the past.
And here they are bragging about how the federal government is unlawfully taking away $2.2 billion from Harvard, and they're celebrating this like it's a good thing. Yeah, celebrate the fact that you're gutting America's top university, and now our top professors and scientists are being recruited by Europe, by China and by other nations. You freaking morons, state regime media. Great to celebrate this as now brain drain is taking a hold and the brand of America has been damaged by morons like you. Here, play this clip right here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Big news for the Crimson, as in the Harvard Crimson. You know, Harvard University's motto is Veritas, truth. And the truth is tonight, Harvard just lost $2.2 billion with a B federal dollars.
You ever look back at the wallet that you used to carry and cringe? Well, mine was like this giant crusty leather brick that barely fit in my pocket. And don't even get me started on the back pain from sitting uneven. Then I found Ridge, and I'm obsessed. Their wallets are slim, modern, and uniquely designed to hold up to 12 cards plus cash without the bulk. Made from premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber, this thing is built like a tank, but sleek. There are over 50 colors and styles to choose from, so you can actually show off your wallet instead of hiding it. And yeah, it gives me serious peace of mind knowing that every Ridge wallet has RFID blocking tech to keep digital pickpocketers out of my business. Plus a lifetime warranty. This is literally the last wallet you'll ever have to buy. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off at Ridge by using code Meidas at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use code Meidas and you're all set. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that MeidasTouch sent you. Thank you.
I do want to show this other moment, though, when Fox was covering the congressional hearings that was taking place. And they pointed out a moment where these MAGA Republicans were trying to make it seem like the head of the United States Fencing Association was giving the middle finger to like a selfie photo. But then as a Democratic congresswoman pointed out, Marjorie Taylor Greene and the MAGAs manipulated the photo. He had two fingers up and they cut off one finger to make it look like he was giving the middle fingers. Play this clip and then I'll explain to you. Ben, what are you fencing? What are you talking about here? Play this clip.
I had already spent the money on competition fees and new equipment and spent hours training. I felt trapped. I had been defrauded of a women's tournament and sold a lie by USA Fencing.
Now, one big fight, Martha, has been over a picture of the chairman. Chairwoman Marjorie Taylor Greene actually brought it up during the hearing, and Democrats said this was a big misrepresentation. Watch this.
Mr. Lefelt came in here today saying that this is game day. You're right, Mr. Lefelt. This is game day.
The document that you have up behind you is a misrepresentation of the actual post. It appears that you're trying to misrepresent a witness here who you use subpoena powers.
Yes, folks. Fencing. And why fencing? I'll do a whole other video on this today, but the MAGA Republicans did a hearing for their Doge, government efficiency, whatever the hell they're talking about, which, by the way, is going to cost trillions of dollars, add trillions of dollars to our deficit, and has saved nothing. It's stolen your data, by the way. But the Doge hearing led by Marjorie Taylor Greene, they had the head of USA Fencing because they wanted to talk about how there was a transgender fencer, and that was offensive to them. Even though Fencing USA gets no money from the federal government. Anyway, I'll do another video on that. Laura Ingraham then asked Kevin Hassett, Trump's national economic advisor, about firing Jerome Powell. Play this clip.
For heart of hearts, do you believe that Jay Powell is acting more politically than economically in his
I won't comment directly on Jay Powell, but I do know that there's a committee at the Fed right now that's been appointed mostly by Biden people, and they have a worldview that's inconsistent with the facts of the previous term. Don't forget when we had the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that created the explosion in wages, the reduction in income inequality, the massive explosion in jobs. All the time, the Fed said this is going to be inflationary, and it wasn't.
Kevin,
That's right.
By the way, this guy, Kevin Hassett's an idiot. He's wrong about everything. This is the guy right before the dot-com bubble bursted in 2000. He's like, it's about to soar. and it bombed. This guy's wrong about literally everything. I think it was he and Peter Navarro. Remember, they said, we guarantee you Q1 will not have any contraction at all. We will grow. There will not be negative GDP. Well, they're just wrong about everything, and they just move on to the next lie. Here's Kevin Hassett again attacking the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. Play this clip.
Well, first, we respect the independence of the Fed, but I don't always agree with Chairman Jay Powell on policy. And I still, as I've said before in the last few weeks after the president talked about the Fed again, that I'm dismayed that they've got bad economic modeling of what might happen to tariffs. They said, if you look at the Wall Street folks, they're saying that the tariffs are going to crater the economy. Meanwhile, we got really strong jobs and we don't have the inflation that they said was going to happen. And so to have the Fed out there jawboning against the president's policies, they didn't do that when Joe Biden was printing money and spending it and creating 20% inflation. And so it just makes me wonder about what's wrong with their models or what's wrong with their politics.
Then on Hannity, you had Josh Hawley talk about, these people live on different planets. They're from different Mars. This guy talking about, play this clip.
These people live on a different planet, Sean. They're totally out of touch with reality. Donald Trump is turning the country around in 100 short days, and that's why they're desperate. The Democrats are totally desperate. They're jetting around now to foreign countries to hold hands with terrorists.
Here he is blaming the current rising inflation on former President Biden. Let's play it.
Hilarious is that Joe Biden and Buttigieg and all the rest, they now act like they have no idea how the country got into this state. I mean, my gosh, inflation's really high. Gee, how did that happen? I don't know. Maybe it's because Joe Biden shut down American energy production, spent $3-4 trillion on Green New Deal giveaways.
And may I just contrast that to some normalcy here as well? Like Minnesota Governor Walz was on MSNBC last night, and here's what he said. Let's play the clip.
He told you he would end the war in Ukraine. He would bring prices down, eggs, and now telling people, when did government get to tell you how many dolls your child has? I mean, this was my whole point about this. Government just big enough to fit in your bedroom, your womb, and apparently now in your toy chest. That is, it's insane. It's a command economy with him dictating. There's no free market principles. My farmers have worked years to cultivate markets in a free market around the world. And we have thrived at that. We feed the world, we clothe the world, we power the world. Donald Trump is now deciding that he gets to do all of that. And the real thing is to enrich the industries he chooses. He's picking the winners and losers. And in this case, the billionaires are winning, the rest of us are losing.
Here he is again. Play the clip.
I don't know. This is from my amateur psychologist. I think he listened to one class when he was back in the 80s or something at Wharton in his 6 months there or whatever, and he misreads this. It's a ludicrous philosophy. No one agrees with him. And then they come back to, well, Democrats put tariffs on. Yes, they're a tool. They're a scalpel. You can use them when you have unfair practices. But he's talking about the thing that drives me insane with working with Canada and Mexico. He's the guy who negotiated the deal. And then he turns around and says, well, we don't care much about Canada. I was glad to see the prime minister coming in from Canada saying, are you out of your mind? We're your biggest trading partner. They are our biggest trading partner in Minnesota. They're our dearest friends. Mm-hmm. They're who we care about. He has no concept. This goes back to that idea. So many Americans thought, we need to hire a businessman to run government like business. Two things about that are wrong. No, we don't need to run government like a business because we're not in the profit making. We're in the proving lives and looking towards the future. And this guy has a proven track record of being an absolute failure. And I think the opening for Democrats is to work with the business community. I am home to many large Fortune 500 companies that are put at risk by this. And I'll just say this, I'm calling these folks out. They need to stand up. He threatens them. He threatens, universities. Thank goodness Harvard's standing up to them. But that's how he gets things done. He doesn't get it done through competency. He doesn't get it done through results. He gets it done through fear, intimidation. And I'm with you. I wish he could have been weirdly obsessed with like pickleball or something rather than tariffs. That's where he could spend his time. But it's on this tariff thing that doesn't work.
And here's Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Let's play it.
They also were supposed to have a markup as it relates to agriculture and SNAP benefits, cutting $220 billion from SNAP when people only get $6 a day to eat in SNAP benefits for those that do receive it. And the last time I checked, you probably can't get 12 eggs for that amount of money. And so instead of doing it, literally there was a leak in a story that came out where staffers said, no, we want to make sure we can flood the zone. So whenever we do this, we're going to make sure that these committees are going to be at the same time. Like the fact that you're hiding from your constituents, the fact that you literally just are like, let me just throw everything at you so that we can overwhelm you instead of actually doing your job. I cannot wait until voters have an opportunity to say, you took food out of my mouth. You took a roof from over my head. You're responsible for making sure that I do not have health care. I'm going to make sure you don't have a job.
Do you see the contrast there, folks? Do you see? Oh, let me show you the full clip of that Fox host, by the way, who I showed you at the beginning. Let's play it.
They say what happened in Newark, we are seeing an increase in problems. And there weren't these problems in the past 4 years. Since January, there have been 5 significant crashes. That hasn't been since 2009. So if everything happened in the last 4 years and nothing happened during the last 4 years, I'm not buying it. And additionally, because it comes down to 2 things. Staffing and equipment. And specifically, they say in Newark, it comes down to 1 copper wire. Pete Buttigieg specifically wanted the 50 airports in the United States that need to have fiber, that need to have internet and not copper. And he wanted those changed. People seem to think that, you know, anybody who is in charge of the FAA can just, and even the president can just, you know, write a check and hand it off. No, they can't. We have something called Congress that those funds have to be approved with and from legislation that has to go through there. So, you know, for this administration right now to blame the former administration, I'm sorry. When it's happening on your watch, and if this were a Democrat, I'd say the same thing. When it's happening on your watch, you are responsible. The buck stops with you. Stop deflecting blame. Show some solutions, specific solutions, so that we can all be safe. I flew into JFK last night, 3.5 hour delay. But I am here.
Thanks, Obama. You said something about 5 crashes being the worst. What did you mean by that?
Since January, there have been 5 significant incidents.
And that's the worst, you said?
Since 2009, yes.
I would like a check on that.
There you have it. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.